Denver 7 Now is sponsored by Ferguson and BAC Appliance Center, the best in bath, kitchen, and lighting for your home.
I'm Ann Trujillo with the latest from Denver 7. Do you need a job? If so, RTD could really use the extra hand. Here is Denver 7's Russell Haythorne tonight with how our mass transit turned into such a mess.
If light rail is supposed to take the headache out of the daily commute,
I ride every day.
Riders say it's derailed at the moment.
It ain't like it used to be.
I feel like Denver's RTD has sucked.
It used to be on time.
RTD is consistently sending out these daily alerts about disruptions in service.
It's not even a heads up. You get it at the last minute.
Denver 7 traffic reporter Jason Luber is fielding all kinds of emails from riders
who are either on the trains or on the buses, and their service is not what they think it should be. They're missing trains. And when you miss a train, you could miss work, and that's a problem.
RTD fully admits it has a critical shortage right now. They need about 50 train operators and about 80 bus drivers.
It is impacting service at times. Sometimes that means we have to drop routes.
RTD says it needs roughly 1,085 bus drivers and is 80 short. It needs 216 rail operators and is currently 50 short. It says the shortages stem from low unemployment, competition, and even drug testing.
Not only is this the type of work that a lot of especially younger people don't want to do, some people have a tough time passing the drug test and the background check.
Bus drivers tell Denver 7 off camera it's hard to retain good drivers because of 6-day work weeks, graveyard shifts, plus rude and at times aggressive passengers. For its part, RTD acknowledges those concerns.
It is tough because you start off with the shifts that are not the greatest shifts, but you move your way up. These are fantastic jobs. They pay very well. You can start out at $20 an hour.
Riders like Tanya Henderson are hoping RTD can get back on track soon. Russell Haythorne, Denver 7.
Denver's urban camping ban could be challenged in court. Today, a Denver firm filed a motion on behalf of Jerry Burton, whose Jerryville camp was told to pack up and move earlier this year. Well, this suit goes on to say that because not every homeless person can stay in a shelter, it's unconstitutional to punish them for sleeping outdoors. The spokesperson tells us the city believes its ordinances is constitutionally sound, but cannot comment on an open case. And tonight we know who murdered a young woman from Golden 38 years ago. Jeannie Moore was kidnapped, sexually assaulted, and beaten to death in 1981. Using genealogy testing, Jefferson County deputies and a private company are now able to say the man who did it was Donald Perea. At the time, he was 23 years old and out on bond on a rape case in Westminster. He ended up in prison, but was released after a couple of years and for the most part lived quietly until his death in 2012.
Really, for me, the only thing that is not a good thing about today is we can't hold this individual accountable because God took him before we got a chance. As far as closure, resolution, for all the people involved in this, it's a good day.
Jeannie Moore is survived by her sister and niece. They did not want to speak on camera, but released a statement calling Jeannie loving and kind in all her ways. A Denver nightclub does not have to close, but it can't stay in its current location. The city voted this week to shorten the lease for Onyx, a bar that sits on city property at 14th and Arapahoe. Police have linked it to dozens of fights in a nearby parking lot. A conclusion questioned by Councilwoman Candy Cedebaca. Cedebaca was the only council member to vote no. The club, however, must move by New Year's. As bad as today's I-25 shutdown was, we should almost be getting used to this sort of thing by now. This morning, 50 gallons of diesel spilled on the highway near 84th in Thornton. No one was seriously hurt, but it took until mid-afternoon to clean it up. And now this area is notoriously crash-prone, but even we didn't expect to see numbers like this. CDOT tells us that the 5-mile stretch between Highway 36 and Community Center Drive Bridge had 786 crashes last year. It was even worse the year before when nearly 850 accidents were reported.
Really, at the base, it shows volume. There's just a lot of vehicles that are moving through, trying to get where they are. Growth is big, volume is large.
Our traffic guru, Jason Luber, has his own theory as to why this stretch has become so crash-prone. He believes many people are taking the express lane and then trying to weave in and out of the slower lanes in order to avoid a fine. CDOT agrees it is an issue and is rolling out an awareness campaign next week on how to properly use the express lane. Starting school can be stressful for parents and kids alike, and for a Littleton mom, it is sheer terror. Denver 7's Jason Grenauer shows us what has her so scared and what the district has to say about it.
This is the first day of kindergarten 2 weeks ago.
5-year-old Taylor just started school.
I am the mother to an autistic little girl that just started kindergarten.
But her mom, Sarah, was quick to realize something about the Centennial Academy of Fine Arts.
There is no fence.
No barrier between the playground, the park next door, and Federal Boulevard beyond that.
And I know my little girl runs away. She, with autism, she just takes off for no reason all the time. And that scares me. I'm scared. I'm really scared. And I keep thinking the worst.
The concerned parent has met with the school about her worries.
They said that they've been fighting to get a fence for 10 years, but that's not acceptable. 10 years to get a fence when you border Federal Boulevard?
A spokesperson for the Littleton Public School District says they just heard about this concern a few days ago, but left the door open for possible changes, saying, quote, moving forward, the possibility of adding a fence will be considered, along with other capital needs identified throughout the district.
I have an autistic little girl. I am her voice, and I cannot not say anything because I need her back at the end of the day.
That was Jason Grenauer reporting. This has been your Denver 7 On Demand update. Thanks for joining us. Check back here later tonight for another update and download the Denver 7 app for breaking news and alerts. I'm Ann Trujillo.